Be shocked to learn just how much we do not know about how your federal tax dollars are being spent. These days in D.C., the House just passed a bill calling it the Taxpayer Right to Know Act. The goal is to stop government waste.
Now, the bill would require every federal agency to provide detailed reports on its programs, how much they spend, and what they do. Earlier, I spoke with Republican Senator Tom Coburn, who has introduced a similar bill in the Senate.
It's takeoff of what we did with the original transparency bill with President Obama that we did in the Senate. And what we found is you can have some, but the quality of the transparency isn't as good. The other thing we know is that there's only one department in the United States government that knows all their programs, and that's the Department of Education. The rest of them don't know. So the only way you can manage that is to make them publish all their programs. Right. Make them see and list what it costs, how many people are served, and the whole goal for that is that's common sense. American people get that. They want it.
Why do you think it takes so long to get folks on board with this when it comes to the transparency issue?
Well, when you're not transparency, there's all sorts of things that can go on.
I understand, but what is it when you talk about accountability and the public wants that, and you hear about it when you go home, and folks are complaining that money's being wasted? It takes a lot of effort, like what you're doing, to make this happen, and it seems like it takes a long time to get anything through.
It's simple, but the agencies don't want this bill.
I know.
And the OMB, speaking for the agencies, really doesn't want it either. But if you think about, if you really wanted to control our expenditures, right, and you really wanted to do good, and you really wanted to eliminate $200 billion worth of duplication, this is the answer for it. So the question is really this: why in the world did we build a government that we didn't know our programs? Why do we, when we see a new problem, rather than look to see what we're doing about it and how well it's working, we just build another program? I mean, that's what actually happens up here. So what we ought to have is a big timeout. Let's assess where we are. Let's find out what we're doing. Let's find out what works and what doesn't work. Let's find out how much it costs, whether there's a real cost benefit to it. And then let's streamline all that before we create another new program. I mean, I'm critical of the president's budget. We have 6 VA programs spending $5 billion a year on jobs. And not one of those has a metric on it. In his new budget, he's got another VA jobs program. Well, I blocked the one that we had in the Senate because we need to fix the ones we've got now and actually keep the promises to veterans rather than say we're going to do another one and it not manifest it in terms of helping a veteran. So, I mean, and I see that played over and over and over and over again up here. We have 47 job training programs.
Oh my God.
Spending $18 billion a year, not one of them has a metric. And so you think if the Taxpayer Right to Know Act actually got passed and implemented, and then Congress looked at that, and the American people got to see all the way, actually got to see all the way. They know innately that there's, and then you acted on it, you'd save them $200 billion a year. And that's either $200 billion that can go to help somebody that really needs it in a more effective or efficient way, or $200 billion that we won't be borrowing from our kids.
Now, Coburn's bill would force agencies to post the information online for you to see, and it would require the agencies to recommend ways to cut waste.